how's it going? You enjoying the very stacked winter 2021 season? I sure am, and I'm sure that even those who aren't big anime fans are feeling the hype. However, I noticed that most of the hype's coming from sequels. There's an Attack on Titan season going on, and the direction where Promised Neverland decided to take left quite the polarizing reception from the community, to say the least. That's why for today, I won't be talking about those shows. No AOT, no Promised Neverland, not even any ReZero. Today, it's the new titles that'll be taking center stage as I rank the top 10 non-sequels that we've had this winter 2021 season. Before starting, I'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel. It only takes just a click, and it goes a long way in helping with the YouTube algorithm, and also, it would just make me incredibly happy. Now, let's get the ball rolling on today's list. Kick off things with something that looks like an isekai, but isn't really. So, given its aesthetics and long title, I wouldn't blame you if you thought it's another one of those seasonal filler isekai titles, but suppose a kid from the Last Dungeon boonies move to a starter town is straight up fantasy. I find the series quite entertaining because of its premise. The premise might seem a bit generic. I mean, you've got the dreamy hero wanting to enroll as a soldier and fight evil, but Lloyd, our protagonist, has a lot of entertaining tricks up his sleeve. One is that he's unaware of his power, and two is that he seemingly lacks common sense in a lot of things. So that creates a lot of scenarios that can end up being hit or miss depending on the viewer. But personally, I found some of them quite amusing actually, and I think that this is a show whose enjoyment would derive from whether you enjoy this kind of character and setup or not.
Tomoezaki このゲームのレート1位アタファミの日本最高プレイヤーだからだ。
Ninth on the list is one of my personal favorites this season, bottom tier character Tomoezaki. It's not that long ago that Origairu ended, and I think we're due for some more self-help series that come with their own dose of social commentary. I'm not claiming that this show can be Origairu's spiritual successor. It takes a lot to carry on the latter's legacy, and despite the similarities, Tomoezaki ain't the show to do it. Nevertheless, I still found this one to be so entertaining, mainly due to how real it feels. I know the way the characters talk is a point of contention for the show, but I think it just makes the whole experience feel more real. The show's point is depicting how high schoolers with a lack of social skills talk and interact with each other, and it's somewhat of an accurate social commentary. That's the whole point of the show, and the more our protagonist starts leveling up in the real world, the better he starts talking and looking, in contrast to the H protagonist look that he rocked at the start. And besides that, I find the banter and the dynamics between Aoi and Fumiya to be just amazing and fun to watch. I found myself thoroughly entertained, but I acknowledge that it's not a show for everyone. Hence, it's just number 9 on this list.
友崎文也君、いえ、ナナシ、私があなたにこのゲームのルールを一つ一つ教えていくから、人生というゲームに本気で向き合いなさい。
Coming in at number 8 is Redo of Healer.
ブレッド、砲撃を。
Before the season started, I called Redo of Healer the interspecies reviewers of the season. Even before it aired, I knew controversy would follow it the rest of the way. I just knew it was going to be the popcorn show of the season. And guess what? I was absolutely correct. Just look at the polarizing reception the show's had. They say that all kinds of publicity is good for the most part, and I think that it's helped Redo of Healer climb up the ranks as one of the more popular shows in the current season. Controversy creates cash, and I think that Redo of Healer is the show that encapsulates that. If you're up for a revenge story, as well as some things that push the boundaries of what can be shown on Japanese TV, Redo of Healer's your pick. Some people argue that the show is a satire of the revenge story that's become popular these days, and whether you'd think of it as such is something that I'd like to know in the comment section.
何この状況？授業中だった気がするんだけど、とにかくここから出ないと。自由だー！
Moving on, we have a more traditional isekai. So I'm a spider, so what? Reincarnated as a whatever's been on the menu for, I've already forgotten. It's been quite a while since the isekai boom started, and it's got no end in sight. Even though some may disagree, I think that it's not completely a bad thing. Slime has been one of the better shows of the recent years, and we've had a great slew of isekai, one which will be way up high on the list later. As for this spider isekai show, I'd say that it's somewhere in the middle of the pack. That's not a knock against it. I think that it's really enjoyable, and a lot of the enjoyment comes from the main character. Kumoko just has some of the wittiest dialogues in modern isekai, and she ends up being quite the charismatic lead that people would root for. The CGI does leave a little to be desired, but at least it's not an Arifureta or Overlord. I think it should be fine. In a less stacked season, this show would be able to stand out more and be a niche hit amongst anime fans. Ready to get edgy? Highrise Invasion is up next. Survivor horror is a genre that's always given me a much-needed dose of adrenaline, and Highrise Invasion has lived up to its expectations so far. Being a reader of the manga, I love how the series looked after being adapted into anime form. It just looks so sleek and professional. That is, until the heads start exploding and the carnage begins, which at that point, you just realize what kind of series this is. The pseudo isekai is a survival series that slowly transitions into a battle shonen, and I'm all up for the change. Highrise Invasion was a series that made me binge manga for hours due to how exciting it is, and I found myself doing the same for the anime adaptation. If you're up for something that can keep you pumped throughout the season, Highrise Invasion is my pick for you. Do take note though that the show can get quite squeamish and violent at times, so you better prepare yourself for some really gruesome deaths. But of course, what's watching the best anime from winter 2021 without prime equipment? That's why I want to introduce to you the sponsors of today's video, Raycon. If you're up for some top tier sound quality while listening to some of the best lines in anime, or you just really dig an opening or end theme, Raycon is your best friend. Wireless earphones for tip-top quality while costing half the price? Raycon and their whole gallery of colored wireless earbuds have got your back here. Featuring over 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth compatibility, and bass like no other, nothing comes closer to the experience that these earbuds can give you. You can even refer to some celebrities such as rapper Snoop Dogg, singer Ray J, boxer Mike Tyson, and NBA star J.R. Smith. Whichever design or pattern of earbuds you pick, Raycon allows a 45-day free return policy. Although it's not like you'll use it given how great these earbuds are. Click on the link on the description box or go to buyraycon.com/ViniiTube to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. A whole new world awaits, and Raycon is here to help you take that next step. Experience anime like never before, only with the best earbuds in town. As we enter the halfway point, we move on with Kimono Gin. It's no secret that I've got a soft spot for the supernatural action genre, with Jujutsu Kaisen sending shockwaves through the anime community. This season brought us another one to add to the genre in Kimono Gin. I wouldn't say that I didn't anticipate the show, but Kimono Gin has been a pleasant surprise in that it exceeded the expectations that I had entering this season. The first thing that comes into my mind is just how much it reminds me of Demon Slayer. The supernatural fighting's there, and the stylistic choices in art are there as well. It's a bit underrated for where it should be on the seasonal charts. Kimono Gin is a really pretty looking show. With such a strong season on our hands, I'm not surprised that the show's getting slept on. However, the show is a pretty good watch, and it does some fun things about the tropes associated with the genre to be enjoyable. In our fourth place is Skate the Infinity. Okay, I've got a confession to make here. When I made the pre-season preview video, I totally forgot about Air Gear. Turns out there really was an anime about skating way before, but it still doesn't change the fact that skating anime are quite rare. Between that and maybe Yuri on Ice, Skate the Infinity looks to make a mark on a rather unexplored genre of anime, and I think that it does so with a lot of success. The story's really fun, and while the show's not exactly the most realistic sports anime out there, I mean, what is? Probably a handful of sports anime, and that's it. I won't deny it if you feel that the show is quite generic. However, despite all of that, I found Skate the Infinity to be story so entertaining that the fact that it's not something revolutionary never really mattered at all. It's extremely stylish and has its own swag, if you get what I mean. So it's not hard to ignore those perceived flaws because watching the show is just a fun ride. If you're up for something entertaining to pass up your time and prefer a more casual watch, Skate the Infinity could be a show to put on your radar.
オートアイ、こんなところで何をしてるんだい？
散歩。
こんな時間に？
Now, here's something that I overlooked completely. Before the season started, I didn't expect the series to blow up the way it did, but looking at it, it's undisputable that Wonder Egg Priority has become one of the series contenders for Anime of the Season. Why, you ask? Well, perhaps it's the gorgeous visuals, the strong themes, and the compelling story that ties everything together. Wonder Egg Priority's a drama that's become a seasonal favourite of fans who'd prefer to steer clear of isekai or the rom-com genre. It's the pick of the season for people who want something profound out of their anime, and for the most part, it has delivered. In a way, it reminds me a little bit of Madoka Magica. You know, the magical girl-esque show that appears light and colourful early on, but then starts delving into some deeper psychological themes. Will it continue its momentum and end up being Anime of the Year at this rate? You can share your thoughts on it after checking a few episodes out. I had a really hard time ranking the top two series here. I would say give it a virtual tie, but we're not going to. I decided to give Mushoku Tensei the nod for second place on the list.
身元不明の30代中盤と見られる男、トラックにはねられ意識不明の重体。
死ぬのか俺。
血圧低下。
せめて童貞くらい卒業したかった。
When they call the series the granddaddy of isekai, you get all these expectations being built up. Is it any good? Will it blow me away? Will it be the one shining beacon in this sea of a genre with varying quality? I'd say that Mushoku Tensei passes those tests with flying colours. You can see how the series has inspired a whole generation of isekai writers even now. The pace can be a little slow at times, but the show's delivered a masterclass when it comes to the world building and character drama. It looks really fresh amongst its peers, and you can see the dedication given to producing this adaptation. It deserves the praise that it gets, despite some controversies regarding the perverted main character. You can clearly see the care that the studio gave the show, but then again, with it being a show that took way longer to get produced than normal and having a studio made to specifically produce it for a long time to come, would you expect anything less? Coming in on top as the best new anime this winter 2021 is Horomia.
誰しも他人には見せない一面があるはずだ。
携帯落ちましたよ。
ありがとう。
Now, if you remember, I pegged this series as one of the most anticipated shows of the season. Even if we include sequels, Horomia is still somewhere up there. And after watching the fast-paced anime adaptation, I wasn't disappointed one bit. The premise didn't seem anything too special at first glance, and it seemed to be your usual feel-good, wholesome rom-com about how opposites attract. Those who expected a light-hearted rom-com have been surprised at how well the series manages to weave the light-hearted moments with character drama. That level of emotional investment for the viewers is something that you don't see with rom-coms too often, and it's a major reason why Horomia has been so highly praised by the fan base. It also helps that Cloverworks, which some of you may remember from Promised Neverland, Bunny Girl Senpai, and Fate Grand Order, continue their role with their crisp visuals to complement the overall feel of the show. As a bonus, the manga's about to end at the time of this writing, putting to close one of the best school romance series that I've ever picked up. It makes it just the perfect time to release the anime now, doesn't it, right? So, how does your list look then? What are your favourites among the new anime this winter 2021 season? Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section below, or while leaving a like and a subscription. Also, if you're enjoying the channel and want to support it, a Patreon link is in the description box. Feel free to support the channel. It's been a great season, and I'm really looking forward to more. We're heading to an exciting finish to the season, and I hope that you have fun with it. Don't forget to check out our sponsors, Raycom. Experience anime like never before, only with the best earbuds in town. I'll see you next time on ViniiTube.